Thursday the 13th of April, and it's 4:15 in the afternoon. Unfortunately, my live on Tuesday couldn't take place as I was on my way to London with my son, but I thought I'd pop on now and do a live card making session with using again the Hues of Happiness papers. Sadly, this suite is retiring at the end of the month. They do still have the papers available. I'm not sure about the rest. I think the rest of it is still available as well. I can just double check actually while we're here. Just give it a few more minutes in case some other people join crafting before I start. Let me just go into my online store. I'll be able to find out whether it's whether it's still in stock, which I'm pretty sure it is, but also whether there's the discounts on it. I know the paper is £11.25 still, and there is stock of that. I did check that one beforehand, so just have a quick check. It won't take me long. Right, Hues of Happiness. Hues of Happiness Suite. Okay, so there is still stock. I'm just looking at the prices. There are some really good deals on. So, and it is actually cheaper to buy the dies and the stamp set separately rather than the bundle. The bundle is still at £46.75, but if you wanted the stamps, the stamp set is reduced down to £13.20, and that was from £22, and the dies are now £15 instead of £30. So that's a really good saving. Yeah, that's the best way of buying this product now, is to buy it separately. And say the DSP is £11.25. So that's good. So it is still available, which is really good. I'm really pleased about that. So this is some of my most favourite paper that we've had, and I am really sad that it's retiring. But I'm going to make another card with it while we still can. Okay, so the actual card is it's a Z-fold diamond pop-up card. This is just a rough makeup of one. I haven't actually finished it, but it just gives you an idea of what the card's like. Okay, so the first piece of cardstock we've got is 8 inches by 5 3/4. Okay, and I just need to find all of my measurements so that you don't get lost. Okay, so on this one, you're going to score on the long side at 2 inches and 4 inches. Okay, so that gives us our card base. So I'm just going to pop that out the way a minute. This piece here is trying to work out, remember how big this is. It's 3¼ inch by 1 inch, and I've reduced the size of it, so it's going to be this box here, but I've reduced the size down, and hopefully it'll still work okay. I just wanted to get rid of some of that card. So on here you're going to score it at 3/4 inch, 1½, 2¼ and 3. Okay, and then this will just bend round. We'll burnish it and it will make the little box that will pop up. Okay, so I'll just pop that out the way and get rid of my scoring board, and we'll come back in with the card base. So I'm just going to burnish the score lines first of all in halves. As you can see, that would be the normal card base, and then I'm just going to fold that one back on itself, and that gives you the first sort of structure that we need. Okay, so there's lots and lots of bits of card, so I should just go through them. So we've got a white, which is 5½ by 3¾ as a mat, and that will go on there. We've got 2 pieces of white cardstock, which are 1¾ by 5½, and they will mat against there. Then we have a piece of the designer series paper, which is 5½ that way. No, it's not. It's 5¼ that way and 3½ that way. So that will sit on that piece. Then we've got 2 pieces that are 1½ by 5¼ and they're gonna just go onto the white layers there for those 2 sides. Then we have 3 diamonds, which are actually cut as squares, and they are 2-inch squares. Okay, so that's 2 inches by 2 inches. Then we have 3 white layers, which are 1¾ by 1¾ and then we've got a piece of DSP that is 1½ by 1½ and another piece for that one. And then I've got, this is in Gorgeous Grape. It's one of the brights, but I think it's a retired bright. It was just a piece that I found that I could actually use for this, so that will go on the middle diamond. Okay, so, and then obviously we've got our little square bit. So I'm going to just go ahead now and glue these layers. Let's start with, let's just pop that out to one side. And we'll start with this biggest layer. The Tombow is really good for making cards because it gives you a bit of wriggle room. I find the seal, you know, once you've stuck it down, you've got no sort of play at all it's stuck and that's it, and you end up ripping the card if you have to move it, whereas this liquid glue is just really easy. You only need a little bit around the outside, a bit in the middle, and it doesn't dry straight away, so you can, let's say, you can sort of give it a bit of a wriggle around until you get it where you want it. So it gives you just a few moments to be able to move it. Okay, so now these ones, again, just round the outside. I always use this end of the Tombow. It does have a bigger end, I'll show you in a moment, which has got like a more of a spreader end on. I'll find another one. See, so it's like this, so you get a bit more out and you can spread it around. I don't think you need to use that end at all really for card making, because you don't need huge amounts of glue. It might be better for, I don't know, if you're sticking photos on scrapbook pages, or you're doing bigger areas of, so if you wanted to maybe stick a 12 by 12 piece of designer paper onto a scrapbook page, then you could use it that way. But I use this little end, and it gives out, you don't have to put too much pressure on it. I mean, this Tombow's probably quite getting close to being empty, but you don't need to put much force on them to get them out, and you don't really need loads of glue. So again, you don't want to put it too close to the edge, because if you do have a blob, it will spread out and then you get all sticky. So just inside. And the glue is actually worth getting as well at the moment on an online shop. I'm just going back into into my shop a moment, because I know the Tombow at the moment is £4.50, and it is going up. Like most things, as I said in one of my previous lives, unfortunately we've got to have price increases like everywhere else. You know, it's costing more to make products and ship products and stuff. So you know, if you like the Tombow and you use quite a bit of it, it's probably worth, you know, getting yourself some now before it goes up on the beginning of May. I think it's the 4th of May, but it might be the 2nd. But of course, you can go on to my store and order that direct for delivery to yourselves with no hassle at all. It's really straightforward. I have got a April host code, which if you put that in when you're placing an order online, I think it's, if you place an order over £30 before shipping, then you'll get an extra little gift from me the following month. So it's the little gifts really are just a way of saying thank you for placing your order and giving you something back because you'd have paid postage. So you know, I do tend to, if I'm placing an order and people want to add theirs to that order, I don't charge postage generally. So it is just a little extra thank you for supporting my small business and placing your order direct. But you can do that at inkspiredcrafts.co.uk or melbrown.stampinup.net. If you go onto the inkspiredcrafts.co.uk website, you'll see I've had my new theme done, so it's looking very different. And you can sign up on there for my blog and my newsletter, and you can see the videos that I've posted of demos, and other information. You can connect straight to my shop from there, so it's yeah, it's worth taking a look if you've got 5 minutes. Okay, so next what we're going to do, now I've layered all these up, so we're just going to fold that flat, fold it bent rather, and then each of these tips is just going to line up with this crease. So it's like that, and then like that. Okay, so when you're gluing, you're only going to obviously glue 1/2 of this diamond, and then press that down, and again I'm going to put it that way. Just make sure, just got to make sure I'm gluing on the corner that I want it on. Stick that down, so that's the first bit. Now the interesting bit's going to be whether that little bit actually is big enough, because the other one that I've done was a lot bigger, but I wanted it to really, I wanted just less card showing. So I'll just glue that for a moment. Okay, if there is anyone joining me on my live, do pop in a comment, let me know that you're there, and if you've got any questions, then feel free to put them in the comments. So the next bit, I'm going to roughly put that in halfway, and what you'll see is it will end up like that. So I'm just going to pop some glue on that one edge, and again pop it back in, doing it by eye, which is approximately halfway up against the crease line. And now we're going to be sticking it onto this side, so some glue on that bit and just press it down. Just hold it for a bit longer. Okay, so there you can see you've got the little square. Now this triangle, it's not a triangle, it's a diamond, but this one is going to sit just on there, so that it's close to half in the middle as you can get it. And again, then I'm just going to pop some glue on the corner. And just insert it and then press it down so that it glues where you want it. Okay, so that's the main structure of the card. Now I'm going to die cut some flowers and put on there, and I'm also going to cut out a sentiment, stamp a sentiment and cut it out and put it onto the front. So for that I'm just going to bring in my little mini stamp cut and emboss. I don't know whether you'll be able to see this or not. I will actually have to stand up, I think, to do this because of the angle that I'm at. First of all, I'm just going to hopefully not knock everything out. I'm going to cut some leaves, and this is from the Blossoming Happiness dies, which is this Hues of Happiness set. So that one will just pop on there. Can never get these things lined up when I want them. It's my hands, perhaps my hands are a bit shaky, I don't know, or a bit gluey maybe. I think so. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so that's the leaves. Let's just pop those down there. Get rid of the bits of paper, scrappy bits. And I want some of the flowers. I'm not sure whether I want one quite so big, but I'm going to cut out one of the big ones first of all. And these line up really easy. You've got this bit here lines up. I'll show you on a different one with this bit, so it's really easy to line them up when you're die cutting them. So that's a big flower. Then I'm going to do a couple of smaller ones and then see how. I might not need 3, but at least if I've got them cut out, then it's done. So this the mini stamping cut and emboss is great for if you haven't got a lot of space, or if you want to take it on holiday. In this country, I do tend to take my card making stuff with me if I go on holiday in this country, just in case we have some really rubbish weather and nobody wants to go out anywhere. And then I can sit and just moved and put it like that. Sit and do a bit of crafting. And of course we've got the kits as well, so Yeah, the kit collections are great for taking on holiday as well, really. Okay, so I think that's enough of the flowers and that, so just put that out the way for a moment. And I will want my cutting emboss again in a minute. While I'm stood up, I'm just going to do a stamp, and then I can get the cutting emboss out again. So this is just a happy birthday stamp from the Peaceful Moments. Again, it's another stamp set that's retiring, unfortunately, but it's got some really lovely stamps in it. Okay, so I'll just pop this back, and I'm going to use the smallest rectangle, stitch rectangle, just to cut the sentiment out, and then I'm also going to cut one out in the Gorgeous Grape, just so that I can add a bit of a border. I'll show you that in a moment. Let's just cut this one out first. Okay, so as you can see, it's got a stitch line around it, and then the negative bit also has a stitch line as well. So if you cut it straight, you could use that as a sort of border. Yeah, there's lots of different size ones, so it could be like a window or something. It means you could use both the little bit and the bigger piece of card. Right. Okay, so that's, I pop that back out the way. Okay, so what I want to do with this is I'm going to cut this one straight in half. Just with a pair of scissors, just cutting it in half roughly. And I'm going to just then glue it so that it's just gives it a little bit of a border on each edge. So do one side at a time. You could do it the other way, so you add a border at the top and the bottom just by cutting it along that way instead. It just, just gives an extra way of extra use for them, really, and you don't have to then find the next size up and have a border all the way around. We use it a lot for on stamps, not on stamps, on punches as well, just to give you a different use for the actual punch. I've got some cards somewhere that show that. I'll show you this one just quickly. So it's like this punch, for example. I've done a white one in it, and then I've cut out in fresh freesia and cut it down the middle and just layered it slightly. So it just gives it a bit of an extra use. Okay, so that's going to go on there in a moment. But first of all, what I want to do is decide what I'm going to do. Now, obviously, as you can see, most of these are just going to cover up a lot of this. And you could make this one bigger if you wanted to, but I'm quite happy with it having, you know, with it covered up. So I'm just going to sort of, you know, I'm just going to stick it like that. So I shall pop that bit just down there, and it doesn't matter that it's, you know, it overlaps slightly because it comes off of the square, because that's just really it's just really for it to be held. And then this one of it, I'm going to pop some dimensionals on. And that can go like that. Put those out the way. Okay, so this one, I could glue it just on half a side, but I'm going to, just to add another bit of volume, I'm going to put some dimensionals on, again just on the one half. And I'm going to pop it on like that. And then some of my glossy dots, I'm going to just find my take your pick tool, and I'm going to pop one there, one up there, and then maybe a bigger one just in there. Okay, so that's the actual card. Now on the back, I am gonna put a white layer. Just bring these in here. This is all of the stitched rectangles, but so I'm gonna use smaller one than that because it's only for. So I'm going to use this one and just cut out a white layer. Once I've found some, put some white here. I just need to cut that down, otherwise I'll have to get my big Stampin' emboss in. So I should just trim this down a little bit. Fine. I'll bring this one back in. I just have don't worry if you hear a creaking noise or a click, it's just where like that, it's just where it goes over the dies. The machines are supposed to make that noise. And that was just me folding it up, so it makes a bit more noise. Okay, so there's the base. Okay, so rather than just having it plain like that, I am going to just do a bit of stamping as well. I'll bring my gorgeous grape ink pad back in. Anyone that knows me knows that I absolutely love purple, so it's gets used quite a lot. I'll just do a slightly off the corner purple rose. And I'm not going to stamp happy birthday on there, just simply because I quite like having it left for me to be able to write a message. And then I'm just going to stick this on the back in the centre, so you can write on there and have the pretty card showing. Okay, so that's that bit. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be big enough. Just to finish off the envelope. Oh, no, it's not. I should have to get another piece. Hang on a minute. Just to finish off the envelope, you can quite easily sort of use stamps and stamp on the envelope, or I'm just trying to find something in the same colours that's long enough. Got lots and lots of bits, so I was going to try and use up a bit. That will do, because you don't need to do it. You could do it right up to the top, and again I have got a so you could do it right up to the flap, or you could just do it a little bit less. As long as it's straight, it doesn't really matter. It just adds a bit of colour, and it sends rather than sending out a blank or a naked envelope. Okay, so it's going to be about there. I'm just literally going to run some glue over that. Bring it down so it covers. Just try and make it as straight as possible. And then all I'm going to do is just trim around and get rid of the excess. Okay, like so. So you have your flap there, and then you could stick, I've got another flower cut out, you could stick that on. I'm just going to add another flower onto the front. Ooh. Let's get rid of those gluey bits. Pop that out the way. Okay, so there's my pop-up. It's a Z fold diamond pop-up fancy fold card. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed watching that demo, and it will be on my Facebook page, Facebook group. It will also be going on to my YouTube channel, which, you know, if you like if you like this demo and you'd like to see some of my others, then it'd be really great if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can see some more. Okay, thanks ever so much. See you again hopefully next week. Right, bye.